summit's top secret. Hasn't even been set yet. Who is this?
It plays right into their hand.
Whose hand? Who is this?
I know about Rottenberg.
Good fucking evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the end of the world. And well, we're getting closer and closer every week, it seems, to that big shining light in the sky, as the case may be. And tonight's big shiny light that I will be talking with alongside Travis here will be from 1999. What I would call like a Christian propaganda movie masquerading as a low effort thriller.
It was
Called Omega
low
Code.
effort all the way.
Yeah,
Omega
we're gonna.
Code.
This movie was first off. This movie was fucking terrible.
Oh, it was so bad.
It was very, very bad. But kind of bad in a good way at times. There's some performances that at least made it kind of fun to watch. As we'll talk about
it.
It
had actors that I like. So.
Yeah, it got a couple people in it that are worth watching. So before we get into the Omega Code and learn all about what was going on in 1999 as we were all losing our religion, to borrow from REM, beyond just the premise of the show. Anything been going on in your life that's worth talking about?
Well, we did get my 91-year-old grandmother moved in, so because we're going to be taking care of her. She needs 24/7 care, and there's a bunch of people living here, so we're all just taking turns.
One big, fun, happy bunch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty cool. Nice. Although I will say one thing's not so happy. Yesterday, the water heater went out. So
oh shit, that's
annoying. I took the coldest shower last night. It was awful. So that's going to set us back also. So, hey, if anybody wants to help with that.
That is always unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Yeah. I had a hell of a week, man. Some of it I'll tell you off mic because it's a little bit personal. But beyond just the personal, like just everything happened in the world. The school I teach at here in Memphis, like almost half my classes are gone because their parents are keeping them home. They don't know if it's safe to send their kids to school because of all the immigration raids and everything happening. So they took their kids and it's been kind of a ghost town. I'm not going to tell people where I work at. That's giving too much information, both for myself and for others, regardless of how big the audience is or whatnot. Or, whether it's like 10 people listen to us talk about Omega Code or 10,000. I don't need to know where I fucking work at. But still, is very much like wow. It's been very different to teach. Your lesson plan for a class, you plan out, how long things are going to take. Groups of different classes, size, is one of the most determinative factors when teaching. Is how big your class is. Kind of determines a lot of what you can and can't do. So I went from classes of 24, 22, 21, 18, 19 to like classes of like 10, 6, 8.
Whoa.
My big class has still got like 21 in it, but still, like, even then, it's like the class sizes are just noticeably smaller. The demeanor of the school has changed. Like the tone and tenor is not happiness. It's more of like a tone of fear. And so anyway, that's kind of what's been going on with me. So trying to move away from the political side of it because every time we talk about politics, we get a major drop off in listeners. But at the same time, it's true. Yeah, it is. I looked it up. But at the same time, I feel it's almost like a litmus test where it's like, hey, if you're offended that I call Elon Musk a piece of shit, I'm probably not going to be your friend anyway. So there's the door. Get the fuck out. Right. It's pretty simple like that. Sorry, he's a billionaire. I don't really like billionaires. They're pieces of shit.
No, I got no love for a billionaire.
We'll talk more about them because as I was watching this movie tonight, the crossover between this movie and what is actually currently going on, especially with what's happening recently with a certain politician in America and what he is wanting to do in the Middle East. Oh boy, no one, all these Christians, none of them seem to read the fucking Bible.
Nope.
So we'll get to that.
I used to. I think I've talked to you about this. I
Yeah,
used like
yeah,
in another life. I used to be priesthood bound, not priesthood, but like clergy bound. I was going to be a
yeah,
preacher of some fashion.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, totally
I
opposite
was,
now.
yeah, I was brought up very, very strongly within the church, and
Yep.
kind of lost that a long time ago, long, long time ago.
Yeah,
But
but I
one
could definitely
thing
tell you one of
I
the
was gonna
biggest
say,
thing. Oh yeah.
no, I was just gonna say one of the things that I can say is that as an adult, like I think I was in high school whenever, like, I was obviously I got stopped having faith in God and all those things much before high school, but
Yeah.
in high school is kind of when it occurred to me that I need to read the fucking book, like,
Oh
have
yeah.
a personal experience with it, as opposed to just having someone else kind of give me a summary of it every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same thing. And so
Oh
after
no.
I read the book, I still am not a person that like identifies with any particular faith, but I feel like the Bible is like many religious texts in the sense that it's a step towards understanding what's going on in the world around us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is. It's just a step in the right direction, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
It's not something that I feel like I need to base my life off of, but I also don't think
Yeah.
if Jesus was alive, he would want me to. I feel
Nope.
like if you're doing that, you're kind of misunderstanding the whole point of his thing. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
conversation for a different time. I feel like if we go down too far into the religious thing in this especially in this movie, we're going
Oh
to
yeah.
find ourselves stuck. And foreshadowing, when we come to March, we are going to be looking at all of the Left Behind movies. So
Yeah.
I'm
And
saving
there's
all of our religious talk for those for that month
I will
because
say
like
when
once we
it
get to
comes to
Passover,
yeah, when you get to like or when you're talking about religious movies about the end times, much better movies over there, much better
yeah,
than this.
which is surprising to say Left Behind is better than this. It is and it isn't in several different ways.
Yeah.
It depends
It's
on which
still
Left
not
Behind you're
good, but
talking about. No, neither of them are good. They made 5 Left Behind movies. They made 2 Omega Codes. All 7 of them fucking suck. Like
yeah.
none of them are good. But we're grading on a scale here. So
Oh, absolutely.
our weeks out of the way and politics aside,
Yeah.
let's get into Omega Code. So this movie came out on October 15th, 1999 to a limited release, and we'll discuss why that was. It's directed by Robert Maricarli. I'm not sure how to say his name completely. He directed mostly a lot of faith-based films. That's pretty much his bread and
Believable.
butter. It's kind of what he does. He
Yeah.
also, interestingly, though, if you go far back enough in his IMDb, you find that in the early '90s, he directed a Jason Alexander comedy about a man being a little overweight called "I Don't Buy Kisses Anymore."
Oh,
So, his
that kind of
one
sounds interesting.
secular sounding film.
It's
Yeah,
probably the one I'd like.
I don't know anything about it other than he directed it and it stars Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. There.
Yeah.
Not sure about anything else other than that. Our writers here are twofold. Stephen Blinn, who also wrote several other faith-based films, and
Hmm.
he also would show up for the Omega Code 2.
Oh, good.
Co-writer is Hollis Barton, who I cannot confirm that this is an alias, but we'll get to why I think it's an alias in just a second.
Oh,
But Hollis Barton, wrote this movie and the sequel. Those are the only 2 credits he has.
huh.
So when you look this movie up on IMDb, when you go to like the trivia, when you go to the facts, there's literally only 3 things. When you
Hmm.
go to Wikipedia and you do research on this movie, you also don't find a whole lot. It's because
Hmm.
there's not really a whole lot written about this movie. But some interesting facts we will get into is who financed this movie and the background of him. Because how did this
Ah.
movie come to be? It cost $8 million, made $12 million, enough for them to make a sequel, one of
Yeah.
the more expensive faith-based films in the 90s. Also, one of the only ones rated PG-13.
Oh.
So, interesting in that respect. How this movie is rated PG-13 is only because of the minimal violence in it. There's not really any
Ye-
other thing in it that would make it PG-13.
oh yeah, no. It was definitely a religious movie through and through.
Yes, yes,
Like
definitely, definitely. And
just
in the financing, you can tell that it was financed by televangelist Paul Crouch, who the reason that I think Hollis Barton is a fake name is because
uh
Paul Crouch also wrote the novelization for this movie. So he turned it into a book, which is something I know you know something about because for a while there, I used to try to go out of my way. Anytime I found novelizations of movies or books, I would buy them and
Yes.
just like send them to you.
Yep.
So I know for a while there you had a collection of. I think my favorite one I found was the novelization of the video game of Metal Gear Solid from the
Yeah.
Nintendo.
That
If you ever
honestly
wondered what would
was
happen
a
if you
pretty
took
good
that
book.
game into a book, there you go.
It was a short read, but it was it was entertaining and it
Yeah,
made sense.
there you go. There you go. There you go. So Paul Crouch, who is this man, right? Who is Paul Crouch? Beyond being the producer and financier of this movie, he, along with his wife and Jim and Tammy Lynn Baker,
Uh,
formed the Trinity Broadcasting Network in 1973. So the Trinity Broadcasting Network would be who
yeah.
financed this movie. They are the fourth largest network in the United States total
Oh,
of all TV networks. They're the fourth largest. They are also the first largest Christian network, obviously.
yeah.
That goes without saying. If you've
Yeah.
ever seen the Righteous Gemstones, a lot of that is kind of taken from Trinity Broadcasting Network and some of the,
Oh, yeah.
not all of it, obviously. It kind of borrows
Well,
from
no.
several other evangelical and Southern Baptist people. And oh
Yeah.
boy, growing up in the Southern Baptist Church, I met a lot of people like the Righteous Gemstone guys.
Oh, yeah. That felt so close.
Yeah. That's why I love that show so much. So
Oh, it's so good.
Omega Code premiered and it was limited release because it was originally kind of envisioned to be a TV movie that just the budget kind of ballooned out of proportions.
Yeah,
And
it
so
looked
why
like a
not
TV movie.
exactly? Why not throw it on to the fucking big screen, make a little bit back, which they did.
Yeah.
It was only on limited release, like we said, and then eventually it found its way on TV, which is where it would be for a very, very long time. You can currently
Hmm.
watch it on Tubi, YouTube, Plex, pretty much everywhere that streams movies. You can find Omega Code, the first one at least, for
Yeah.
free.
Oh,
So
yeah.
beyond
Which is a good
producing
price for it.
yeah. Beyond producing this movie, which would be one of the four movies Trinity Broadcasting Network has produced to this day, the
Hmm.
other three, one of them is the Omega Code sequel, Omega Code 2, and
Hmm.
the other two I didn't bother looking up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No.
beyond that, they also are notorious for a series of scandals that have befallen them, so to speak. One might say that. One might also say that they're just fucking horrible people who,
Oh, yeah.
if God was real and Jesus was real, these are the people that, the money changers in the temple,
Oh, yeah.
Luke 19:45. I wrote this down. Matthew 21:12, right? This
Yes.
specifically where it shows what Jesus would do to these type of people.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
he may not ever tell you in the book what you should do with abortions. Read between the lines there, but he tells you very clearly what you should do with millionaires and billionaires.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, maybe if you're gonna believe in the shit, maybe just fucking read it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so scandals that these people were involved in are numerous.
Oh, yeah.
He in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, paid a man $420,000 for wrongful termination, and it was revealed that he was also probably his lover.
Okay.
Yeah, he also violated IRS tax laws by how he was
Uh,
paid through church donations.
yeah.
His granddaughter was later on told everyone that she was sexually assaulted by people in the church, and his wife kind of paid her to
Yeah.
go away.
Oh, man.
That's your granddaughter. That's your
Yeah.
granddaughter.
I mean,
Christians, not all of them.
not
Just
all of them, but
not.
oh boy, the ones that
Uh,
are in positions of power.
yeah, especially in America. Yeah, I wrote down
Hmm.
this guy definitely would have voted for Trump, which is part of the problem. Um,
Hmm.
this movie also part of a scandal. So this is not on the IMDb, and I don't know why, but shortly after this movie came out, he was sued by Sylvia Fleener, who wrote the novel Omega Syndrome, and
Oh,
she sued him for $40 million because she said that he stole the idea from her whenever he took this movie and produced and, like I said, financed it, and also
yeah.
wrote the novelization of it. And in my opinion, maybe also was a ghostwriter on the movie as well. If we believe, at least I don't know who Hollis Barton is. He has no other credits on anything other than the 2 Omega Code movies. Very well could be an alias.
And
Personal opinion.
That could easily sound like a made up name. I mean, honestly.
True. So that's pretty much it for the background of this movie in terms of who directed it and who wrote it and who financed it. Not really a whole lot there, honestly, just kind of pretty much a really shitty Christian company who really are really not very good people. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
And here we are. So the cast is there's 4 real people that we need to talk about, I guess, maybe 5.
Yes.
We got Casper Van Dien, who is obviously in Starship Troopers, kind of
the only
known
thing
for
I've
that.
seen him in.
Well, he was also in Wing Commander 4, a wonderful video game. Jamie, if you're listening, shout out. There you go. Me and Jamie used to play Wing Commander 4 a lot. So Casper Van Dien has been in a lot of bad movies, a lot of TV movies. I wrote down some titles. You want to hear some titles?
Oh, desperately.
All right, here we go. Blood Metal Revenge.
Ooh.
Army Dog. Rat Apocalypse.
What?
Sharktopus versus Werewolf.
Oh.
Christmas Twister.
Oh, all right.
Vector File. Dracula 3000. This one I like because it just gets right to the point. Shark Attack.
No, there you go.
And he was in Beastmaster 3, and I know what you're thinking. There's a third Beastmaster? Yes.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they did that.
Oh.
They did that. They thought, you know what? Beastmaster 2 wasn't bad enough. Let's go back again. Let's go back again.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
well, I do want to watch that now.
Appearing here as Cassandra is Catherine Oxenberg, who is technically royalty in Yugoslavia. She is like the daughter of a princess. So, yeah. She has also appeared in a lot of bad movies and maybe only one good one. She was in Lair of the White Woman, which is a Ken Russell movie, which is kind of weird, but it's pretty good. She's in that. She's also in a lot of bad movies. Here are some names. You'll notice a theme here. She was in Rat Apocalypse.
Oh.
She was in Vector File. And she was in Sharktopus versus Werewolf.
Okay. Yep.
So you're noticing that her and Casper Van Dien are in a lot of movies together, right?
Yep.
That's because they were married.
Oh.
Yeah, they were married, and they also, while married, appeared in a lot of faith-based TV movies together, did a lot of commercials for faith-based things. They were both very, very Christians. Very, very, very Christian-y. No longer together, separated. They did, I believe, had some kids together, but, didn't really bother getting into their lives too much.
Well, no.
So our next main character here is Dominique, played by Michael Ironside, who is no stranger to us. We saw him for the first time in Neon City, and that will not be the last time. We will talk about Michael Ironside again and again and again. He actually appears here with Starship Troopers with Casper Van Dien, so they kind of got that in common. Yeah, they both were in Starship Troopers. They both were in this. I wrote down that this movie is, I'm guessing, rent was due, and he didn't want to dip into savings, because this is not his best performance.
No.
He doesn't really do anything in this that you're like, oh, that's Michael Ironside. He does it for like a second, and then they take it away from him, and you're like, why the fuck did you even do that? Why is he just hire somebody else? Like, that's why I'm like, did he do this for a paycheck? He had to have, because it's not like there's anything in here where he's like, yes, I really this speaks to me.
And he's never really, like, this is the only thing I think I can point to in his entire career, unless there's something I haven't seen, that he has gotten into like religious, storytelling of some kind.
True. We'll see this with Nicolas Cage in Left Behind as well. Maybe just the right church came with the right paycheck, and he said, sure. I don't
it can happen,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing here. So joining him is as our villain, Stone Alexander, and maybe the only thing in this movie that's worth watching is Michael York. Michael York is the best part of this movie. Was in Logan's Run, which is an amazing movie.
Such a great movie.
Was in all of the Austin Powers movies as Basil. He's kind of the older guy that always is helping out Austin Powers. He's been in some shit, though. He's been in some shitty movies.
Yeah.
Did you ever see A Night in Camelot with Whoopi Goldberg? He was in that
I did
90s
not
Disney
see
movie.
that.
No? Oh, man. If anyone in the audience remembers A Night in Camelot with Whoopi Goldberg, it was a 90s Disney movie. This is not a fever dream. Look it up. It's not like that fucking Sinbad move thing with like, was
Oh,
he in
right.
a movie as as what the fuck did the people say he
As
was
a
in?
genie.
As a genie, yes. It's like, no, this is not that. There was a Whoopi Goldberg movie
Hmm?
where she is a knight in Camelot. It's not very good.
See,
He was in
I have a
oh, go
theory
ahead.
on that whole thing with Sinbad and being in a movie as a genie. It's because
Uh-huh.
he used to dress like a genie back in like the 90s and the
Everyone
80s.
did. Everyone did.
Yeah, see, so it was really easy
It
to
was
make
a
that
thing we
mistake.
did.
Yeah.
So he has been in some interesting movies, especially in the 70s and 80s. He was in like Romeo and Juliet and some Shakespearean productions. He actually has a connection, Michael York does, to another movie that we reviewed, Bed Sitting Room. So Bed Sitting
Oh,
Room was directed by Richard Lester, and another movie that Richard Lester directed was Three Musketeers. Michael York is in Three Musketeers.
awesome.
And the only other weird thing I could find about Michael York in this movie is Michael York executive produced the sequel to this. So
Huh.
he enjoyed it enough to come back for the sequel, so Omega Code 2 is basically the almost the exact same movie as this. It's a prequel and also kind of like a
Oh,
retelling of this movie. Yeah, I actually
uh,
own Omega Code 2. I bought it on DVD for like 50 cents at a pawn shop like years ago. Yeah,
nice.
is it also Omega Code 2, one of the worst pieces of shit ever made. I actually saw Omega Code 2 before I saw this one. You got to get the prequel to really understand
Oh, yeah.
your faith-based propaganda. Yeah. And last character we'll talk about is Casper Van Dien's wife in this movie is Devin Odessa, is the actress's name. And
Oh,
she played in a bunch of TV movies and a bunch of movies in general. She was also in My So-Called Life. So
oh.
that's pretty much our cast. Yeah, Casper Van Dien, Michael York, Catherine Oxenberg, Devin Odessa, and Michael Ironside. Yeah, those five are really, really it. We have a couple other characters that show up here and there, but that's pretty much these five people. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the entire cast. There's not a whole lot else happening. So before we get to the plot, we will pause, take a little break, and then we'll get into the plot of Omega Code as we find out how bad this movie really is. We'll see you guys
Yeah.
in a second. That is our little try at a jingle for Travis trivia section. So Travis, here we are. This movie came out on October 15th, 1999,
Mm-hmm.
and I have written down the top 5 songs. Any fucking
Oh,
guesses?
I 99. I want to
1999.
say Corn. Did they get
I
up there yet?
I was gonna go ahead and tell you there is no new metal at all. The closest we
Oh,
got was number 9, which is the band Someday, which is the sorry, not the band Someday, the song Someday by Sugar Ray. It's as close to new
oh.
metal as you get is shitty old Sugar Ray. Shitty old Sugar Ray. This is all pop music. A couple
Oh
one
man.
hit wonder, yeah, 4 pretty solid artists that everyone pretty is familiar with, and then one hit
Yeah.
wonder.
Oh man, I'm so out of my element with like pop stuff back then because I was not.
I don't
Uh,
know. I only know like 2 or 3 of these songs. So I'll go ahead and give you a couple hints. So number 6 was Genie in a Bottle, Christina
oh,
Aguilera. So we're in
oh,
that kind
okay.
of time period here, that kind of musical
Okay.
genre. So anything there that you can think of.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Well, of course you got like Britney Spears.
Not in the top 5.
Not in the top.
Not in the
Okay.
top 5, but close to number 2.
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot.
Someone at number
I'm
2 has a connection with Britney.
Oh God, that could mean anything to me. Oh wait, the In Sync.
Yes, number 2 was NSYNC and Gloria Estefan, which I did not know this song existed.
Wait,
Music
what?
of My Heart.
I didn't
Did
know
not
they
know. I
ever.
literally wrote it down and I paused and I asked my wife because my wife was a big NSYNC fan. So I asked her, I said, "Do you remember a song with NSYNC and Gloria Estefan?" And she said, "No." And I said,
Hmm,
"I didn't either. Apparently it was number 2 in the country on
number
October
two.
15th, 1999." So yeah, Music of My Heart, NSYNC and
Huh.
Gloria Estefan.
I
Any
mean, I
any
like.
any other
I
Any
like Gloria
guesses here?
Estefan. So,
Number
well, I
3 is a
guess.
combo. Is a pairing of two artists who normally don't duet together, but they did a
Oh,
song that became very, very popular, and it's still popular to this day.
I don't think it's this, but I'm gonna try it. Is it that like The Boy Is Mine?
Close, but no. So
Uh,
it is "Smooth" by Santana and Rob Thomas.
oh,
Yeah, going
I
back to Matchbox 20.
I'm
There you
haunted
go.
by that song. I hear it every
Yeah,
now and again. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, okay, I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that being a
It'll get
thing.
burned into your memory forever. Okay, so we
Oh
got
yeah.
you got number 1, number 4, and number 5. Number 5 is a one-hit wonder.
Oh yeah. Oh, then
It involved a list of women's names.
Oh God, was that Mambo number 5?
Mambo number 5 by Louis Vega was number 5
Yes.
at the time. How fitting. How fitting.
Yeah,
How
I'm starting
fitting.
to remember all this.
All right, number 4 and number 1. Any guesses?
Oh man, I've been so thrown off now. Was Backstreet Boys in there anywhere since we got in sync?
No, 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 no. No Backstreet Boys at
No
all.
Backstreet Boys.
No
Okay, no
Backstreet
love for
Boys.
them in '99. Okay.
Not yet, not yet. We got In Sync. Number
Yeah,
1 and number 4. Both kind
was
of R&B oriented. Excuse
R&B.
me.
I'm trying to remember. Did that? And it's I'm hesitant to say this name nowadays, but was it a P Diddy thing?
No, no. I'll give you.
Okay, thank goodness.
I'll go ahead and break it to you. So you've exhausted your choices, I
I
suppose
think
I
I
should say.
have.
Number 4 was Unpretty by TLC,
N-
which
I,
love me some TLC. I could not pick that song up off the top of my
I
head.
don't know that song at all.
Yeah, not my go-to TLC song. Number 1 was Heartbreaker by Mariah Carey.
Don't know that one.
I know the album, but I do
Oh,
not know the song. Only reason I know the album is because I believe the story goes that Ryan Adams named his album Heartbreaker because he just like happened to look up and see hers.
oh,
I don't know.
really?
I don't know. Ryan Adams is a piece of shit, so it's hard to say.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that was
Okay.
1999. Not the most
God,
exciting year musically.
I was
But
gonna
you know,
say, wow, we really just dug into the pop scene. Like,
it was hard in there. So new metal. Every time we go to the 90s, you guess new metal, and it has not
well,
happened a single time, which is weird to think of because I remember new metal being a lot more popular than apparently it just didn't really break into that high into the charts.
I guess it was just
Apparently
in
it was
the people we hung
floating.
out with, you know?
Apparently, yeah, everyone was listening to like fucking Disturbed and System of a Down, not
Yeah.
not listening to Mariah
Well, I
Carey
will say I
and
do
NSYNC.
remember one time in high school, I was talking about Power Man 5000, and this girl was like, "I don't know who that is," and I was like, "That's insane." So I guess it's
How dare you?
possible.
How dare you not know Power Man 5000? How dare
I
you
realized,
disrespect fucking Spider?
yeah,
You
he's
piece of
Rob
shit.
Zombie's half brother or something.
He's Rob Zombie's friend from a dad who worked at 7-Eleven down the street. He needs a job. God damn it.
But yeah, I realize now how ridiculous it sounded. But at the time, I was like, "But everybody knows that song,"
I
you
went through
know?
a phase where I really, really enjoyed Paramount 5000. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we
When worlds
yes.
collide, it hit really fucking hard. It's a good song. God
It
damn it.
is a good song.
I
I might
feel
actually
embarrassed
listen
to
to
like
it later.
I feel embarrassed to like say like I like Power Man 5000, but you know, that's one
Oh,
of those
I've
bands. Them
I've
and like
gotten over that
Static
kind of
X.
embarrassment.
Static X is another one of those where
Oh,
it's
see,
like
Static X, I have
a little cringy,
zero.
little cringy.
Oh no, I have zero shame. I
They're not
love that
super cringe.
band.
I mean, like there's Dope. Dope was way, way, way worse than anything Static X ever did.
You're naming
Dope
off.
was
You're naming bands I still listen to
I'm
sometimes.
sure you do, you fucking dickhead. You're the only one listening to
I'm a
Dope in
piece of shit.
2025. If we go to Spotify and I look up Dope monthly listeners, I'm sure it's like 3, and you're one of them. And your sock puppet account might be the other 2, for all we know. We're gonna take a break before we look at the plot, and I'm gonna Google how many people listen to Dope on Spotify. We'll be right back. Hey, joining you guys live in progress for a little announcement. If you've been enjoying the podcast on YouTube, you can now also find it on Spotify by searching Welcome to the End of the World podcast. Same thing on Apple. Search for Welcome to the End of the World podcast.
You can also find links on the YouTube page to make it real easy for you. Just stopping in for a little update on that from future Matt, returning back to past Matt, live in progress, watching Waterworld. We can't afford effects. I'm doing it.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
I'm gonna say I was close. You know, I'm gonna take it like horseshoes, right? I guessed 3 people listen to Dope every month. It's 1.5 million. So, you know, horseshoes, hand grenades, as they say. I'm taking it as a win.
There you go.
You can't slow me down. Can't stop my stride. Let's talk about Omega Code from 1999. So, oh boy, Auntie was really pissed at us because this movie is bad. So, like all bad post-apocalyptic movies, we start with white text on a black background telling us, well, that he who controls Jerusalem at the end times controls the world. So, my first question is, why do you want to control the world at the end times? Everything's dead.
Yeah, right.
They don't really kind of go into footage of that. They just kind of are like, we got to control Jerusalem at the end times. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I've read the Bible. I remember that part. Yeah. So we immediately then cut to stock footage, and then we get the first character of the movie is a horribly fake mustached Michael Ironside.
Oh, it
looks
so cool.
Absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's immediately like one of those things where you see it and you're like, okay, this is my kind of movie. Or you see it and you're like, what in the fuck is that? So yeah, he looks ridiculous, but Michael Ironside is like, basically playing dress up because he's an assassin here. Right? He's working for, as we'll find out later,
like one of those comedy shows or something where they have like an obviously fake beard.
Yeah, it looks like if you were playing Saturday Night Live and you were like, we need to pretend to be Amish. They were like, oh, well, here's one of these Amish beards we had sitting around. You know, exactly. No one's worn it since Chevy Chase, so here, put it on. Right. So anyway, Michael Ironside looks ridiculous. And then beyond Michael Ironside looking ridiculous, we get the other thing that this movie, I think, is kind of known for, which is poorly aged computer wizardry, just kind of filling in any gaps in narrative the plot has.
Yeah.
So it'll just cut to computers with like lines of code and number on them doing absolutely nothing. And people are staring at it and interpreting the data instantaneously like it means something. Yeah, it's like twisting like in a DNA pattern because that's how computer information is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this movie has definitely like suffers from like that Matrixisms where it's like, well, we're just going to make the Wi-Fi and computers be like crazy complicated, and it's not even at that point. It's none of the things they do in this movie are crazy complicated. The most complicated wizard tech like computer thing they do is he sends a fucking email. That's it. That's all he does. He sends an email. Something like a child could easily do. But anyway. So we're going to see a lot of computer wizardry. And then as this is happening,
it's a hallmark of the 90s. That kind of thing.
It really is. The hackers, this is not, unfortunately. Ironside does kill a bitch though. So as dressed up as ridiculous as he is, he kills someone. He finds the code, and then he immediately gets himself caught. He just immediately gets himself cornered by the least intimidating looking people that we have ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
He immediately takes the child hostage, and they tell him, hey, let the kid go, and we'll just let you go. Right? Yeah. Just tell your boss that we're coming. And he's like, well, he already knows. And then we point to a camera, and then the credits of the movie start officially.
Yeah.
From that point. And that's kind of how we begin. We begin our movie with these really, really unintimidating looking men cornering Michael Ironside. Easily could be able to stop him, and the movie would have just ended right there. And instead, they let him go because I guess they're prophets, and this just needs to happen.
So this is actually a thing this is all stuff that's going to come up for Left Behind, but that technically is biblical, I guess, in the book of Revelations. These 2 characters, no one knows who they are, but they are pretty sure it's like Moses and I can't remember the other prophet.
Yeah.
But supposedly.
Interesting. So Sticking true to the biblical text there as we get into this movie
if
that is really
nothing
playing
else.
off of the late 90s fear of computers.
Oh god.
Like just really, really playing off of that. You can tell this came out before the 2000s did. Because
Oh
it
yeah.
is definitely playing into those fears of like computers could do evil shit.
Yep. Oh, and
So
yeah, very menacing.
next thing we're gonna meet is we're gonna see Casper Van Dien, and he's gonna be on a TV show hyping up this book he wrote, and immediately he is the most obnoxious fucking person in the world.
I was not ready for that.
He is so fucking obnoxious. You want to hit him. Like
I
he's
wasn't.
jumping up and fist pumping and just saying completely fucking ridiculous shit and it just asinine bullshit. It's yeah, I hated him as a character in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Total
Like
fucking douchebag.
any like equity he had built up for me in Starship Troopers, all gone here.
Yeah, he's a comedian. He's got 2 PhDs. He's just a complete fucking dickhead in every way, shape, or form.
I guess he's like a motivational speaker or a self-help guy or something. And he's like, he just sounds like, I don't know. Do you remember on Mr. Show with Bob and David back in the day? They had a character. They did a bit with like the 13th Apostle, and it was like this guy who was like a salesman type dude.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's what he reminded me of. And I was like, oh god, this is painful.
Yeah, it's very, very bad. It's very, very bad. His performance in this movie is absolutely horrible. It will immediately make you be like, this movie is, God. From Michael Ironside's facial wig that is thankfully torn off and never shows back up again. They had the good sense to take that off and not try to play that on for the rest of the movie. And then Casper Van Dien acting like just a complete fucking asshole and jumping up and down like a dick as he's screaming and shouting about his book that he's really, really wanting to do. They have this really, really weird part of the movie. So if you watch the movie on YouTube or Tubi or wherever you can find it at for free, don't ever spend money on this.
No.
At the beginning of it, there's a really interesting part where they like cut to the crowd and they're like laughing as his jokes. And then at one point they like freeze and they re-loop the same scene backwards.
I didn't catch that.
And Derek, you can tell because all of a sudden the crowd just like freezes for a second. Like everyone just stops, and then it just does it does it backwards. So yeah, you can tell they were cutting some corners there. They got one scene of coverage. Yeah, they were like, guys, clap for Casper, and they did, and then they were like, do it again, and everyone was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh.
So yeah, Casper is going on and on about Princess Diana and how the Bible is a 3-dimensional computer code, and that if we turn it a certain way, we can see the future. And
don't forget, he's a non-believer because of his past trauma. You're only a non-believer if you have trauma.
Only if you have trauma do you justify being a non-believer. And we know he has trauma because what? He has flashbacks.
He has flashbacks.
Which will show up into the movie later on. And I mean, at the end of it and at the beginning of it, and then nowhere in between does it ever happen again. So just fuck all that shit. But we have to have him have some flashbacks because beyond just being here to make money, he is our hero.
Oh.
But he doesn't become a hero until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. And even then, he makes it very, very, very clear he is only doing this because of him and his family. That is it. Yep. Like, he doesn't give a shit about anything else. So he's not really a very good hero.
No, and I will say I can kind of like appreciate some of that, but the whole thing it's bad. He's a bad character.
Yeah, the book that he's pitching to make money off of sounds awful. So is it about like being your own god? Because he mentions that at one point. It's like it's about self-manifestation, or is it about the code of the Bible and how the Bible's a 3D computer, or is it about how the prophecy of the Bible connects to Princess Diana and all the things that have been happening? Or like the book seems very unfocused. And based off of this interview, I would never buy his book. A 1 out of 10. Would not buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then because this movie is nothing if not globetrotting, we cut to someone somewhere doing something on computers as we see stock footage of Rome. And then Casper shows up in Rome.
Yeah.
I thought he was in LA, just like just the last scene he was in LA on a talk show. Now he's
Yeah.
in Rome for this inductionation of Michael York's character.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time has passed. No idea.
Now, and I guess he's with that. Is he with the same person, that same lady he was talking to?
Yes, that's the thing, is that he's with the same lady. So was the TV show in Rome or were they in LA? Because
Yeah,
he goes back to LA like shortly after this. So I'm like, okay, well, where were you beforehand? The movie is not very good at giving anything like, setting.
Yeah.
Things just kind of happen. So anyway, they're in Rome, and this is where we finally someone comes along to save this movie, because Michael York,
Oh
he's
yeah.
laying it on thick here. He is giving it
Oh.
some deep ham, cooking that ham and making it real nice and stinky. And he's probably the only good thing about this movie, honestly. If
Yeah.
Michael York was not in this movie, I would not even know if I could have got through this.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because Michael Ironside is great, but he's not really used very well in this movie. Ironside basically is like his assassin sidekick, who's also kind of at one point his prophet. And are they lovers? I don't understand, because it kind of hinted at that at one point.
Yeah.
Like, so
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
so
okay, like where are we going with that? He doesn't really get to do any Ironside things other than like
No.
for a brief second, and that's it. So anyway.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. So Casper wants to meet with Michael York, and well, he's not really interested in that. So York tells him, I'm not interested. In what Michael York is doing is it's kind of like the Elon Musk of this movie. He is a Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say he's like a mega billionaire type person, but he's also like a total philanthropist, I guess, outwardly.
Yes,
And
outwardly giving to the world in a way that seems to be like, oh, look, I'm giving everyone food and water. Like, look, I'm using all of my money to help change the world, and I'm giving back. But really, I'm not.
My takeaway from that was this was the movie, and also the producer and writer and all of that, letting us know that we can't, if there's a rich person out there using their money to, it's just kind of throwing their money at helping in this sort of way, they cannot be trusted.
Yeah,
these
clearly.
TBN people, whatever, these televangelists, they're not using their money in that way. They are trustworthy. They're keeping it to themselves. This man is not trustworthy. I definitely got that. That's what I felt, that message all the way through.
Oh yeah. I mean, this movie lays it on thick, because Michael York is basically like supposed to represent like globalism, right? Like he eventually becomes the world's president, and later on literally is listed in the credits as the Antichrist. So you very clearly know what they're going for. Yeah, so he's basically,
I think they make him chancellor of the world or something like that.
Yes. At the beginning of the movie, the United Nations is honoring him with several awards because he's basically invented a way to give the world endless food and water. So no one's ever going to go hungry ever again, right? That's kind of the idea.
Shit.
What a fucking piece of shit. But he is actually using it to kind of further his own agenda, because as we find out, he is the literal Antichrist.
Yeah.
Like he is the literal walking, breathing psychopath, talking.
Oh yeah.
Antichrist. So Casper, like I said, he wants a ward with York, but they want nothing to do with him. He gets nothing, and instead him and Cassandra, they chit chat for a little while, and they seem to develop some kind of like tension there. Like maybe there's a little bit of love, maybe there's something there, but you find out later that goes nowhere.
Yeah, it's set up, and he even says, well, I think she says like something about, would your wife be bothered with you being here with me or something like that? And he's like, well, we're separated, so I guess not.
Yeah. He starts hitting on one of the only female characters in the movie. There's only two of them. Yeah. One of them he's married to, and the other one he constantly hits on. So that shows you kind of what the church thought about women at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right there. And immediately
those are the only two female characters.
Right after he says that about his wife, about them being separated, and it doesn't really seem to matter, that immediately it's completely turned around, and he's so wife focused. And it's like, Did they just get so uncomfortable with that idea, like, moving ahead with that?
I think maybe the director was like, all right, Casper, you're an asshole. And he's like, all right, I'm going to start hitting on this girl. Like, that's what assholes do. And then they were like, wait. Who's the hero of this movie? All right, we need Casper to be it. All right, so now we want you to pretend to be loving to your wife. Anyway.
Yeah. You're
we'll
a
get to the
family
wife.
guy.
We get to the wife shortly after because we get another intersplice of some computer wizardry. Once again,
Oh, yeah.
computer screens doing gibberish. I wonder
Yep.
if he's got a 40K modem. Then we immediately cut back to LA. So we were in Rome. Now we're in LA.
Yeah.
How much time has passed in between then? No fucking clue.
Anybody's
and now, now we're learning more about this is what you were talking about, where Casper is back home and he's like, oh, I really want to be with my wife and I want to go hang out with my kids and we're gonna play tickle parties and and he has to express basic emotions like loss and regret and love. And boy, does he suck as an actor, because god damn, he struggles here.
It is
really,
painful.
really bad.
Well, and not only that, but like he's giving all this attention to the daughter, and this is again more of the movie or the producers or writers or whatever saying their thing about women. She's like super weird and jealous.
She's jealous
about the daughter.
She's like, oh, you haven't seen us in months, and all you want to do is tickle your daughter. No one wants to tickle me. And I'm like, are you fucking like getting hoary because your daughter's getting played with, and like you're mad, like you're like that was like sending some weird fucking signals to your daughter.
It was so weird,
like,
and
it's weird.
I was like, man, this not a good, or at least not a fan of women. This whoever.
It's all right though, because Casper's got the solution. You know what he's going to do to make everything better? He's going to become a teacher. That way he can stay home. And he's going to stay home. He's going to stay home with the kid, right? He's going to tickle Spider, his wife. They're going to play tickle spiders every night. He's gonna get a job.
Also, by
the way,
he's
going to become a boring,
such a creepy thing.
Creepy thing as hell. He's going to become a boring ass old mythology professor. And then literally we cut to him as a job. Like he doesn't like, there's no like him looking for a job. Nope.
Yeah.
He's just got one. He's fucking already tenured. And he has this job for, I presume, like either anywhere from 2 years, 2 months, or 2 weeks, because he only has it for one scene. And then he's never teaching ever again.
Yeah. Well, and then I don't know. I can't remember if it was before or after the teaching part, where again with the wife. I'm hung up on this because it's so weird. What's such a weird choice. But the baby, or I say baby, it's a little kid, is sleeping on on their lap.
Oh yeah, that happens.
And she's and she's like the wife is like, we could act like newlyweds, no kids, no, and I was like, the kid is right there.
Yeah. She wants to just run away.
Like, does this lady has no attachment to this kid?
Fuck that kid. Fuck it. That kid's like 16. He'll be fine. She's fine.
Such a weird
She'll figure it out.
Yeah,
she just had her birthday. She's fine. She'll be fine.
So I'm wondering, the thing I kept thinking about was like, what was it like when he wasn't there? Was she just like
pissed,
just shitting on
the
her
whole time, just
constantly,
like little bitch, I hate you.
Yeah, just
like just the worst parent in the world, I would imagine. Yeah.
I mean, like, what were they trying to say? I don't. That was so weird.
No,
somebody was going through something.
Just the writing is really, really bad in this movie, and the editing is even worse. You can tell that it was edited for TV, because like it built like that scene right there, right, where he like, you could easily like have the only way that the two scenes interlock, where he has the conversation with his wife when he gets home and it's his daughter's birthday, and then they have another conversation after that where his wife is going, where the kid's going to sleep, like you were talking about, is if you have a commercial break between those two scenes.
Absolutely.
Because then you come back and it's like, oh, okay, that's our little bridge to the next part of the movie, in case you missed what happened before the commercial break. Otherwise, that makes no fucking sense. You don't need those two things back to back like that. But that's what we have. So then we cut to him teaching, and Michael Ironside has shown up and decides to audit the course. And because of this, he's able to tell him, hey, that meeting you wanted to have years ago, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how long it has fucking been. This is the very confusing part of this movie. How long has it been? How many days has he been teaching? Has it just been like his first day? And Michael Ironside's like, good job, coach. Let's get you back in there. So Anyways, after his lecture, he gets flooded for autographs, which happens to all of us teachers. You should be surprised.
Yeah, I was about to
Second I get done lecturing about, fucking Colson Whitehead, everyone runs over and is like, autograph, please. Doesn't happen like that, unfortunately. But here, all of the students want his book, and Mike, this is where Ironside makes himself known and basically is like, hey, that meeting you wanted, we're looking to have it. And this is what gets us to the next part of the movie where Casper is going to eventually join Michael York's global staff of basically Christians morphing the Bible to fit their needs.
Yeah.
Because there's a terrorist bombing in Jerusalem, and this is what I guess motivates him to be like, he tells his wife, like, it's only going to be a week. I'm just going to be gone for a week. That's it. And his wife is like, well, no, I know that's not going to happen. You're going to be gone longer than that, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, how long has he been home for? Because he just got back like 13 minutes ago. Less than that.
If it goes by like an earlier time, like, she's understandably upset about this,
Yeah. He just got back, and then he's like, if it would have said like, if he would have been like, honey, look, I know it's only been 2 months since I started the job teaching, but like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. But that never gets said. He's just like, I got to go and do it. And no one's ever like, well, you've only been home for so many weeks or months. Like, no, we just don't know. He's literally barely with his wife at all. Like, he's back. He's going out. So,
and they play it like she's being super selfish, and it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's the dick here.
Anyway,
he just told her he's gonna stay.
Yeah. So we then cut to more computer wizardry as we get Israel and Palestine cannot settle on peace in the Middle East, and who's going to come and solve it? Michael York and Casper Van Dien. They can solve the peace in the Middle East, and that's what they do. And honestly, their deal they get is a lot better than one we saw in real life. He lays out a plan, York does, to basically rebuild the new Roman Empire, a world empire, led by him, of course. And then he quotes some Caesar to Casper and some Shakespeare and lets him know basically what Casper's role in this is going to be, which is basically he's going to take Casper and use him as his prophet, so to speak, to spread the words that Michael York needs spread. Because there's a connection between all these events, and Michael York doesn't understand why yet, but he knows there is a connection.
Yeah.
And this is several times where Michael York will literally say, I don't know why things are happening, but I just know they are.
Yeah.
And,
well, because I think him and I don't know if you're going to get to this later, and I'm just jumping the gun, but him and Michael Ironside are talking about, this Bible code or whatever, and how he's like worried that he's going to be the beast or something,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't exactly remember the timeline of this movie. I kind of got lost in.
It jumps all over the fucking place. Yeah. Like, this movie jumps around a lot.
Oh yeah.
A lot. So a week is obviously not going to turn into a week. It's going to be turned into a much larger job. And if Casper Van Dien was a better actor, you could actually like give this some socks, and actually put some weight behind it, that he's like, he's this guy who's in over his head working with this guy that maybe he doesn't really follow him 100%, but like but no, none of that happens. None of that happens. He willfully and gleefully jumps on board Michael York's maniac train as they start to take over the world. And so we get more and more stock footage. We get an establishment of a global currency. More and more stock footage. We get
no.
Go ahead.
Did we see, and I'm trying to remember, I know that the Dome of the Rock got exploded in that terrorist attack.
Yeah.
The famous mosque. But did they already unveil the plan for the new temples?
I think at this point he is about to unveil the plans for the new temples. Yes, which ties into current events once again. There's some stuff going on there.
That's kind of a Revelations thing. That's kind of in there.
We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to like go too far into like how this ties into like biblical or whatever, because eventually we're going to talk about it in a much more specific way. with those other movies, you know,
Left
the Left
Behind
Behind
series,
movies. So,
yeah, definitely.
those are definitely a lot more. I don't know. I mean, there's more of them, so they stretch it out. There's a lot more to talk about, but this one is like very condensed, and it's
it is. So we get more and more stock footage. We see that the two guys that intimidated Ironside earlier, those are actually the prophets.
yes,
So Jay and Silent Bob, they are not, but they are
no,
our prophets here. And this is where Casper gets a phone call, and I may have to splice in this phone call at the end of this episode because it is maybe some of the worst acting ever. He continuously asks over and over and over again, "Who is this motherfucker? Hang up!" Just like, are you
he's
fucking Jason Alexander from Seinfeld? Like, who is this? Like, just hang the
he
fucking phone up.
starts to call all mad. Like he looks at the phone and he's just like, "Who is it?" Like mad, and I'm like, "Who? Do you know who this is?"
No,
Like,
do you not answer the phone? Just fucking pissed. Every time someone calls me, I'm just like, who the
yeah,
fuck is this?
like,
Why not just hang up, Casper? So
I
the
mean,
phone call
really,
tells him
like,
that like he needs to go and he needs to go to this meeting. And if he goes to this meeting, these secrets will be revealed and blah 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 blah. He goes and tells
yeah,
Michael
it's,
York, I need to go to this
oh yeah,
meeting. I don't know if I should go or not. York's like, yeah, go. And
yeah,
then as he
go.
goes, the person he's supposed to meet gets assassinated. Tension
And
builds.
it's you know he's about to get assassinated, but you
Yes.
can't tell. They try to play this game of like, who's it going to be, and it's like, well, obviously it's going to be the clown. Like,
Yeah, I said this
you
movie has the tension building of a Pepto Bismol fart,
oh Lord,
just barely squeaking in there.
I mean,
So Casper brokers peace in the Middle East because that's what he's able to do.
yeah,
And
because
it's
you know
just
that's we just needed a motivational speaker in
we
there.
needed a motivational speaker, and then this is where I said this is where we get where he lays out the plan of building the new temples. And
Oh
this is
yeah,
where
that's
I
right.
said this is where the movie accidentally crosses into real life right now because apparently no one in the Trump administration nor anyone helping Michael York's character read the fucking Bible. Daniel 7:25, Daniel 11:36, theologians
Mhm.
Revelations 13:18, Revelations, the entirety of Revelations 13.
Yeah.
Um, there's some things that are mentioned about what happens whenever the people start coming and fucking with the Holy Land, which is
Yep.
exactly what apparently the United States might be doing. So,
Well, we've got a lot of people that are trying to trying to self-fulfill some prophecy here.
yeah, it's not
It's
good.
it's not good
It's
because
not good.
I'm not worried about the end times as a prophecy. I'm worried about the end time as a product of weird fanatics.
I honestly,
Like,
same. The fanaticism will kill us all, but no, I honestly like part of me is kind of like as we get closer and closer, like if these things were to be true, like wouldn't it be fucking crazy if the rapture like was happened? Like
oh, I
they
mean,
establish a settlement, we get 3 years of peace followed by 2 years of absolute like madness as Jesus Christ comes back and starts just killing everyone.
honestly, if
Um,
peace happens, I will probably believe it then.
Yeah, dude, like if it's like 3 years, like the Bible says, if it's like 3 years of like just everything's great, and then it'll be like, ooh,
That's when I'll freak.
yeah, let's start packing
Well,
your bag.
because
I
I
guess there's
mean,
no packing your bags.
again,
We're all gonna die. Like
oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, it's gonna be like, all right, well, I guess I was wrong. Fuck.
they do exist, like M&Ms, right? That's what I
But
Jesus has a lot in common with the M&Ms, you know.
with the M&Ms, they
Yeah,
do
a lot in
exist.
lot in common, a lot in common.
A lot in common.
Yeah.
uh, well, there are more parallels to come to in real life, sort
Oh
of.
yeah, there are, yeah. So anyway, York shows off that he really is as powerful as he is, as discussed in the news, and he kind of lays out his whole plan. And then we get to 1 year later, and Casper is still under York's employee,
Yep.
still getting flashbacks,
Oh
because
yeah.
why not, right? We need
Yeah.
flashbacks at this point.
Mhm.
And we're more than halfway through this movie. We got like 28 minutes left, and there's still not really a hero. We have three shitty people. doing shitty things, and we're just kind of seeing them happen. So yeah, he's not really any hero to this. Meanwhile,
No.
Michael Ironside is giving a lecture about the code and how York is going to do these different things, and at the same time, Casper, they see that he is on, they see him on the little computer screen there, and they see what he's getting
Yeah.
into, and this is where we get to the next part of the movie, which is finally Casper becomes our hero.
Yeah.
Finally.
Well, yeah, because they see him on the screen and he's looking at this this Bible code that they've been, this program and all that. But
Yeah.
and also because that rabbi dude that gets killed by Michael Ironside in the beginning, I guess he knew him, I guess, and
Somehow.
so he sees something with his name on it in that computer lab thing.
Yeah.
And so I guess he's kind of putting pieces together. And this is where I think again we get to see like Michael Ironside as like a jilted lover.
Yeah, so Michael Ironside shows up and he's like, Casper, we know you're down here. And then Michael York shows up and he's like, after, he confronts him and he's like, well, Casper, I was going to make you my prophet. And then
Yeah.
Ironside's like, gives him a look like, here's prophet. You said I was going to be the prophet. And then he fucking gets a gun. And this is where we get our PG-13 rating because, he fucking shoots somebody. So
Yeah.
accidentally
with blood and everything.
With blood and everything, yeah. So Ironside is a jilted lover.
Yeah. Well, because I guess he had originally was like a priest or something.
Yeah, he was a priest who gave up the faith to kind of follow.
Yeah,
because
he believed in
Michael York. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, or he was convinced to go along with it, and
because he killed his dad.
Murder.
Yeah. Michael York. Remember, he says like, you came into my confessional booth and you told me you killed your father, and I knew that.
Oh, that's right.
Any man that was willing to kill his father must have conviction. That I was just like, okay, that's all it takes.
That's
so anyway, we get more stock footage as Casper escapes, and the world is seemingly after him, and he makes it to Cassandra, who he thinks he's going to help him because reasons, I guess. She's the only woman he knows in the entirety of Rome.
Because she was approached by the prophets to give him a message.
Yes.
And so he goes to her because like, well, you're the only one, Yeah. But yeah, we do see Michael York he does die.
Yeah, and this is where the movie fakes us out hard because you think Michael York is dead, and Michael Ironside's like, well, I'll take over now. And I'm like, okay, so we lost the best character. Now Michael Ironside is not going to be this little quiet, non-doing anything character. He's going to take over as Michael Ironside. Like, all right, cool, let's see Michael Ironside. Nope, that's not what happens either. He says that, and then immediately after saying that, magic happens.
Magic happens. And we get the magic in the form of cat eye contacts.
Yes,
or like reptile.
yeah, it's very cringy. He has not aged well. CGI in this movie is terrible, but turns out Michael York, he ain't dead. He rises from the dead, just like Jesus. Like Jesus.
And this is, I believe, this is a reference of Revelations about a head wound and dying and coming back just like Jesus. Sounds kind of familiar, like somebody that was an attempted assassination where there was blood on their face, and then immediately after, no wound.
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about the ear shot.
I know.
When Trump.
It's hard not to draw parallels between that and that.
It seriously is so hard. I want.
Which is very weird because this movie was made in 1999, so it's like certainly not.
Certainly not.
But
so it's a lot of dumb parallels to real life, and I don't even. I'm hesitant to call it real life because how is this shit happening? Anyway, sorry.
We're in a bad movie, man. We're in a bad fucking Christian movie, apparently. So we see more computer wizardry as Ironside and the world is searching for the final code, as well as searching for Casper.
Oh, that final.
And this is also where
code.
we get like Ironside and York have a very complicated relationship because he gives him a look and he mentions several times at this point that like, are they lovers? It seems like they might be hinting at the fact that they're also lovers. Yeah. Now, in no other point in the time of the movie do they establish this. I'm guessing that like they're like, well, we already made him a globalist. We already made him a philanthropist. Might as well make him gay on top of being the Antichrist, right? Let's just put all of our eggs in one basket. All the things we hate, let's just put him in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And this is where Casper meets the prophets. He starts learning the truth about Stone Alexander and who he really is. He is the Antichrist. And,
and
he's also elected Chancellor of the world at this point.
Chancellor of the world.
Yeah.
And Casper, we see, again, I'm bad with the timeline in this movie. When does it, like, I guess, do the prophets tell him that, like, it's demons being attacked? Like,
yeah,
the
so
visions or whatever?
The demons come in just a little bit, yeah. But at one point he does get attacked by demons, and he does ask for help from Jesus. Yes, those things do happen. That's
right. Okay.
Yeah. All of that is a coming up.
Okay, it's coming up. Okay, I'm telling you, I got lost in the timeline. I was like, I don't remember which happened when, like it all just sort of happens at the same time
then
to me.
The movie gets, we'll talk about why it gets even more confusing, because at the end of this movie, there's another big fake out that you didn't see coming that didn't need to fucking happen, honestly. We'll get to that. So he basically tells the prophets, like, I don't really give a shit about Alexander being the, chancellor of the world and bringing upon the end times. I just want to clear my name.
Yeah.
Dipshit, we're all gonna fucking die. Like,
your name's not gonna matter.
None of this shit matters. We're all gonna fucking die. So this is when his plan is basically like, I'm gonna email my ex-wife the code and she'll be able to decipher it. Turns out that's a stupid fucking plan because it doesn't work. So this is somehow just bad night vision footage as soldiers come and arrest him and put him in jail. And this is when we kind of get like the bad action phase budget of the movie, where we have this whole like chase scene of him trying to get to LA to find his wife. And somehow he gets to LA to find his wife, who we think is brainwashed, but is actually just being like bugged. Her house is.
Yeah. So she
doesn't really give a shit about it being bugged, because they just talk openly anyway, like about what they're going to do. They're like, we're going to drive to Mexico. And it's like, and then they won't look for us there. And I'm like, but they can hear you. You just said it's bugged. And of course it cuts to us, Michael Ironside, listening to them. Like, he hears them.
Yeah.
It turns out this is all just a diversion to get his daughter and wife to safety, because he's actually going to go to his his politician's friend that from earlier in the movie, which of course goes poorly. His politician immediately rats him out. And this is where he starts to see the demons. And this is where he immediately gets on his knees and prays to Jesus and asks for help.
They immediately go away. Magic beats magic.
And this is where the movie gets confusing for no fucking reason, because he wakes up and he realizes all of that's a dream and he's still in Rome. So he didn't go to his wife. He didn't get turned on by his friend. He didn't have the demons. None of that fucking happened. It was all just a dream. All of it. He's still in Rome with the prophets, with Cassandra. Why the fuck did we just waste all that time doing all that? Made no goddamn sense. No fucking sense. Completely no sense. So he gets the final code, and then he's like, all right, cool. This, no one's going to turn on me now. Nope. Another twist. Cassandra turns on him. Right. Yeah. So she fucking turns on him, and now she's working for York, and she has the final code. And this is where Michael York makes his big final speech, and he, like as in the book of Revelations, he declares himself God.
Yes.
Much to the chagrin of all of his followers, who are stunned as he says this. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if any politician in our current climate will go so far as to declare themselves God, but if they do, it'll be interesting to see.
Some people are doing it for him.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
that's a real thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's scary.
It can't be surprising, but it is frustrating, and it's
something about something false prophets, So speaking of false prophets, apparently. The real prophets do show up, and they are killed. And
I thought you were talking about the band. I was like, oh God, no. Let's never talk about that band.
No, that is the band we will never talk about. The Lost Prophets.
Oh, yeah.
No. The Prophets here.
Yes.
They show up to confront Michael York, and he has Michael Ironside kill them, and they're like, "Hey, it's fine. We'll rise again." And when we do, you'll know we weren't. You'll know we weren't fucking joking. That we are the Prophets. So the news tells us, and this leads them getting shot and killed leads to a riot where we get cut to stock footage of riots, footage of end times
Israel
happening.
Turns on them, all these different countries, like they start turning on them, and it's I don't even know what they call it. It's like they're seeding or something like that. Like I don't know. It's just like, oh man. So it's all falling apart.
Heretic. Yeah, the whole thing's falling apart. He doesn't really care. He has the final code. His plan is to drop a nuke, and they're going to torture Casper until they give him the final code.
Yes,
it's the only sensible thing you can do with Casper Van Dien after his performance in this movie is just beat the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, and I got to tell you, we keep talking about this final code, but it really does actually piss me off. Like genuinely, I got mad at the end of this movie. I got mad.
You'll have to tell me why in a second. Okay. I didn't even bother looking at the final code. I just was happy this movie was over. As soon as it ended, I was like, thank God. Like the last, the last 30 minutes of this movie, I watched at 1.5 times speed. Just because this movie it was hard to get through at the end.
It's because I was
like, to get through at the end. I don't give a shit about Casper Van Dien in this movie. If he's our hero, fuck it, let us all die. Like I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, really.
This is awful. So yeah, York is planning on dropping a nuke, and Casper, he's going to get some more bad CGI smoke demons and more bad flashbacks and asking for salvation, and he finally decides he's going to give up and he's going to give out the final code, right? Because the world is going to end, and so he gives out the final code, and decides fuck it, he's going to do it anyway, and might as well. Why waste a nuke, right? Why waste a nuke? So as he does this, though, the nuke is dropped, and like a demon comes out of, I guess the Antichrist is shot forth from Michael York's character.
Yeah, I was not understanding.
I don't understand what the fuck happens there. He's like I don't know. Anyway, Casper gets the final code, and what were you saying about the final code? So the year 2000's about to start, baby.
Yeah, it's a fucking Y2K. It's the 0000. The thing, the Y2K bug that everybody was so scared of.
Yeah.
It was going to turn everything back to all zeros.
Yeah.
That's the fucking end of the movie. It's a goddamn Y2K bug.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
I did not like that. No, I was actually very pissed. I was so pissed.
You thought the movie was going to shoot for something higher than that, huh?
I don't know why I thought that, but I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I sat through this whole fucking shit show for a fucking Y2K bug.
Y2K
you gotta
bug.
Be kidding me. I was pissed.
What if at the very end it just said, remember to check your junk folder? Like,
anything could have been better. Honestly, like, it was so. I was
sometimes my emails get sent to spam, so check there. That's all. It's just all it says.
It pissed me off right at the very end. I was just like, oh come on.
Yeah, the first half of this movie is pretty okay, and then the only saving grace of it is Michael York, and as his performance begins to grate on you as the end of it, because it is very one note. He's maniacal evil all the way through. Michael Ironside is basically unused, doesn't really do anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Casper Van Dien. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there are parts with Michael York where he is kind of like he's aware that he's trying to fit in to the code, but not be the bad guy, and he's worried about becoming the bad guy. And then of course, I don't even know why they did that. It's like,
as he does nothing to stop himself from becoming the bad guy.
Exactly. Like, what is the message here? Like, is he's a reluctant bad guy? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Movie is very, very poorly written. Yeah, Casper Van Dien's performance is absolutely fucking horrible. One of the worst performances I've ever seen in any actor. I have to take that. I must see if I can find that fucking phone call scene because god damn,
Oh
is it
yeah.
terrible.
Oh, it's
Oh
so
lord,
bad.
it's so bad. Yeah,
Immediately, I was like, why was he so mad?
just
Like,
mad, just pissed. I don't know. That's what happens when you're Casper Van Dien. Yeah.
yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
no, bullshit. I'm not
So
taking this fucking call.
final thoughts, and then we'll go talk to Auntie and see what she has in store for us next week.
Yeah.
So I'll go first this time.
Yes.
This movie fucking sucks. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. It's not so bad it's good. It gets close to that. It gets close to being so bad it's good with Michael York, but it somehow either comes close to being that and doesn't quite hit that mark, or it goes so far over and just goes back around to just being bad again. I'm not sure which. But either way, the movie is absolutely atrocious. And it's not much fun to watch.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, it's just bad in a lot of ways. Bad CGI, bad writing, bad editing, bad pacing, confusing fucking narrative that doesn't need to be confusing, confusing use of time that should not be this confusing. Just a bad movie overall, a very very bad movie. And yeah, go ahead, your thoughts.
My thoughts, a lot of the same, but I will say I don't know who they imagined was gonna like identify with, I guess, our hero with Casper's character. I guess I don't know exactly who they were envisioning. Like, I guess they thought, oh, this is gonna get the people that are reluctant non-believers or whatever, like jilted, or traumatized non-believers, and this is gonna make them turn and
Yeah,
give me money or whatever
all
it is their goal
atheists
is.
are all
Yeah.
atheists are pieces of fucking shit. So this is
Yeah.
they'll relate to Casper Van Dien being a total fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, it was insult. The movie is just a big insult the whole way through. It's an insult to its actors, honestly. It's an insult to people watching it. It's an insult to biblical understanding, I think. Um, and really, it's an insult to movie making in a way. Like, I mean, and then that fucking Y2K. I can't. I've been holding it in the whole time we've been talking about this, just because I didn't really want to like, make the whole
Yeah,
thing about that. But
yeah,
fuck, I've
yeah.
been thinking about it
uh,
just the whole time. I'm just mad.
that
So
makes sense. That makes sense. Well, speaking of Mad, I believe I hear the calls of Mad Max's auntie calling us as we get ready to spin the wheel and make a deal for the second week as we see what she has in store for us for the second week of February. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in a second.
yeah.
Bust a deal and face the wheel.
God. All right, we have talked about Omega Code, one of the worst pieces of
Yes.
shit in the world.
It
And
was
now
so
we're
bad.
going to spin the wheel and see what Auntie has for us. So once again, our 10-sided dice will be spun. Here are our options. I had to erase, obviously, the Omega Code because we've already
Mhm.
watched it. So instead, we have Beware the Blob, Post-Apocalyptic, Commando Shark, After Earth, Darkest Hour, Solar Babies, Land of Doom, DEFCON 4, the late great Planet Earth, Spin Again, and our new one entering the fray is America 3000. So
Oh.
I have randomized them once again. Roll a
Mhm.
dice and let's see what we get.
All right, here we go. I wish this got picked up on mic, but number one,
Number one, Beware the Blob.
Beware the Blob.
All right. Well, I have absolutely no idea what the hell that movie is. I'm looking it up
Nope.
as we speak. Beware the Blob. 1972. Well, there you go. It is on Tubi for free. It is what we will be watching next week. It stars Cindy Williams and Robert
Oh, okay.
Walker. So thank you guys for watching. We will be back next week to once again face the wrath of Auntie as we watch the worst of the apocalypse as we go through the month of February. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.
See ya.
Hello?
You must stop the Midas Summit.
What? Who is this?
You cannot allow it to proceed.
The summit's top secret. Hasn't even been set yet. Who is this?
It plays right into their hand.
Whose hand? Who is
I know about Rosenberg's programs.
Who is this?
General